Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be looking at a really fun topic to talk about, but an also really irritating topic to read about, and that is phrases that can just kill your writing. Today I have picked 5 phrases that I see far too damn often, whether it's in books or on TV, movies. Oh, they're just everywhere, and they need to stop, because whatever mood you're trying to build up just gets completely crushed when you read these cliche phrases that don't serve the plot at all, but everyone still relies on them, and it is just such a buzzkill. There are thousands. There are so many. Even when I was looking through a few of them earlier on, I struggled just to pick 5, but I thought if I do any more, then this is just going to go on and on and on, and no one wants that. So we're going to be looking at the 5 top phrases, for me personally, that will just kill your writing. The first one on the list we usually see in like epic fantasies or grim actions, and that is the "as you know." This can come in so many variations, like "as per our briefing," "as was explained earlier," "as you may well know," "as was told," "as is our history." There's so many variations to this, but it all boils down to the main point. As you know. But then, if we know it, why is it always followed by a metric butt-ton of exposition? It's just a lazy excuse to just unload a bunch of information that you might need for the plot, but more often than not it's just an excuse to give a look into the epic world that someone's built, even though we're only focusing on one town. As you know. If we know it, then why do we need to be told again? You need to find other ways of incorporating your exposition, because if we already know it, or if we were already told it, then why do we need to be told again? As a reader, yes, we are not going to know all of the stuff that's going on. We're not going to know the wars that's going on. We're not going to know about the magic systems. We are completely fresh and new to this world. But if one character says to your character, "as you know," and then followed by a bunch of facts, they know. Why don't they tell us? Why don't they show us, rather than just going on and on and on with someone else giving exposition? It is lazy, it is redundant, and it needs to stop. Number 2, and this is usually saved for a villain showdown, or, you know, a rivalry come to head or something like that, or even, you know, the neglectful parent faces off against the plucky child. It's everywhere, and that is the "we're not so different, you and I." Oh god, now I love when a hero and a villain have very compatible motivations and personalities, where it is very true that they are different versions of each other, and it's obvious then, yeah, they aren't so different, which is why it's so cool when you realise that a hero could have so easily have become the bad guy if they had followed that path, but they didn't. And then it's weird seeing the villain being like, oh, if you had done this different, you wouldn't be the guy you are today. It's such a fascinating concept, and I love it so much. But when it is called out, when the hero is bloodied on the floor and, you know, struggling to get to their feet, and then the villain is gloating, it's like, "but we're not so different, you and I." I'm like, okay. Like Alice in Wonderland, for example. You look at Alice and you look at the Red Queen. They are very similar. They are both childish, they are both stubborn, and they both like to have things their way. The only difference is one is already in a position of power, where the other is trying to get away from that power. It's 2 very different mindsets, but they are very similar. Same when you look at classic works like Frankenstein. It's like you look at the monster and you look at Victor. Both have a strong desire to belong and to learn and to prosper. The only difference is that Victor cowers away from what he's created, whereas the monster wants to improve and learn from past mistakes. They're not so different. I love parallels in heroes and villains, I love it, but when you have the cliche, "we're not so different, you and I," Why do you have to call it out? It should be obvious. If you have to call it out, then you haven't done your job as a writer of portraying the right parallels. I would love to go into more detail of how you can create these parallels, but that is a video for another day, I'm sorry. Number 3. Oh, I'll tell you when we next meet. Well, that is just a massive death flag right there. If someone, like, why can't you tell me now? Why can't you tell me now? You are here, you have to go on this long journey, I might not see you for a while, there's clearly going to be something bad, you might die. Why not give me the information that's going to help me now instead of being all cryptic of, oh, I'll tell you when we next meet, I'll tell you when you're ready. Oh, I'll send a message for you. No, you won't. We all know you won't. We all know that you are riding off into the sunset over the hill to the great beyonds of death. You are not coming back. You are not telling us the information. It is frustrating. It is a massive red flag, and it is just an excuse to build drama when really all you're doing is just being like, oh, okay, well, I guess we won't get attached to that character. Moving on. Number 4. Now, this is kind of a 2-in-1, but they both basically mean the same thing. When your character has to explain to the reader or to a secondary character that they're normal, like, oh, I'm normal. Yeah, I'm just your average Joe who lives next door. Or the, I'm not like other girls because blank, or I'm not like other guys because of this. Then why are we reading about you? If you have to overemphasize the fact of how just pristinely cookie-cutter normal your character is, then A, it's a huge red flag of, well, clearly they're not normal, otherwise this story wouldn't be about them, so what's really going on? And it doesn't do it in an intriguing, oh, I must find out more. It's just a, alright buddy, why you're so normal then, bring it on. And then like a chapter later, they're the chosen one, or, you know, they are the long-lost descendant of a royal family, and you're just there like, normal, we totally believe that right from the start. And it's just, oh, I'm not like other girls because I do self-defense, or I'm not like other guys because I like art. And it's just, people have different interests, people have different hobbies. Just because you have a hobby that is a little bit out there for the stereotype, that doesn't mean that you're not normal or that you're not like other people, because guaranteed if you do it, there is a whole other group of people in the same mindset. Why? Usually if I'm reading a story and it's like, oh, not like other people because of blank, or no, I'm completely normal, I'm just your average Joe, I usually stop reading, because it is just, if you hit a cliche that early on, then I have very little hope for you in the future. We as readers do not want to read about normal people. We want to read about epic adventures. We want to read about personal and internal struggles. We don't want normal. We want everything else. Finally, and I know we're all guilty of this. Even I'm guilty of this. I have done this before and gotten so angry at myself, and it's something that keeps popping up because it is such an easy, quick fix to fall back on when you're stuck, and I do get it, but it does need to stop because it's also lazy. And that's the ever wonderful classic, but the power was inside you all along. We've seen this in Chosen Ones, we've seen this in magical prophecies, we've seen this in the power of friendship tropes. Just when, you know, your hero is about to give up and there's no hope in sight and the villain is prospering, then out of nowhere you're hit with, but then this power surged from within, the power within me all along, let's just stop. If your character has an internal power, then by all means use it, but make sure that it is something that is referenced beforehand and is used a couple of times beforehand. Don't just bring it in as like a deus ex machina of it's gonna fix everything, because just when you're at your lowest is when you're the most strong. It's like, no, you've had the shit beaten out of you, mate. You're not bringing up some random power at the last minute. You're dead, okay? Also, it is so cringy. It is so early days Disney Channel, and not in the good way. It's I fully believe in a strength, in a power, in a mindset, and in a beauty. I am fully on board with all of that, but when it's a literal power and magic ability or something like that, then it just goes way too damn far, and I'm just thinking that a child wrote this. If you're gonna have an inner power or an inner strength, then by all means develop it well. Don't just have some Care Bears taste the rainbow nonsense thrown at you at the last minute, because it is cringy, it is lazy, and it is overdone so much. As I said, there are many other phrases that just really grind my gears because they are just so cliche and terrible and cringy, and you read them and you think, oh, they weren't there. And like I said, we've all been guilty of doing that before, but it just gets to a point when you're like, can you just stop now? The cliches are cliches because they're classic. No, a classic and a cliche are two very different things, and we need to start learning the difference, because those phrases, and there are many more out there, but that might be saved for another video, are just nonsense. I'm gonna end this here before I go on even more of a rant, but I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any phrases that really wind you up or just get on your nerves, please let me know, because I have fun when I'm ranting like this. It just makes for a bit more of a jaunty video, I suppose. I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.